You can stand up and I will repeat your question. Anybody have a question? Yes, sir. He wants to know more about the Rotary Peace Centers. Well, I am not an expert on them. I have a club president. I belong to Longmont Twin Peaks Rotary, and my president is absolutely thrilled with them. So I wish he were here because he's been researching them. They're not new. They've been around for a while, for a long while. And people, after they go through graduate school, go to this Rotary Peace Center and learn how to do conflict resolution, a million other things. And right now, I just read some article in the one of the Rotary publications. It wasn't the Rotarian, but one of them, that said that we have them in all kinds of places, like the World Health Organization, the United Nations. They're in the there's a lot of them at the United Nations. The World Bank. I mean, these people are out there making a difference. So thank you for that question. I'm sorry I don't know more about it except just to be excited. So maybe your club could do a program on that. Your foundation committee could do a program on that. How about that? Anybody else? With that, I'm going to end my program. You've all been so attentive. And as someone who speaks from up here and knows that when the district governor comes, it's like, oh, I think I can't be there that day. Thank you very much for staying and being attentive. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. We're pleased to have you here, and thanks for spending time with us and sharing some interesting personal aspects of it, too. That's always neat to hear. We have a couple gifts for you to help you commemorate your many clubs. She visits every club in this district. 67 clubs in this district. She's eaten breakfast, lunch, and sometimes dinner every day. This lady is a hardworking lady. So we have two gifts. First of all, we'd like to give you something we're very proud of. This is a symbol and a baseball which symbolizes our Branch Rickey Award, which will be held November 13th. And actually, we'd like to invite you and your husband to come and be our guest at the Branch Rickey Award evening, too. This symbolizes the celebration of a humanitarian, Vernon Wells, who was announced today, of a humanitarian in professional baseball world. So it's an element that we're very proud of. Secondly, we'd like to offer this gift to you, something that's recently touched the heart of Denver Rotary, written by a local artist, and the artwork is done by Karen West, same person. She does. Pardon me? She is a Rotarian also. The Trouble with the Alphabet, Through the Eyes of Innocence. And I'd like to share with you and our club something that she, from our club and our gift to all of our speakers now, one of the gifts is this book. And rather than giving a book or a gift certificate for a library, for a book to be placed in a library, we've chosen to then give these to our speakers because it's such a personal gift. They all would want to have this book for their own coffee table, for their own children and their own grandchildren. Teaching the kids of the world with the letters of the alphabet representing A for whatever country, B, C, D, and giving a story of a child. And Karen writes in here, to be a child safe and free. Such a simple prayer. Karen West, please accept this in gratitude of your being here. Karen. We have about 3 minutes, which is appropriate for any insider baseball questions for Allana Rizzo. Would you always want to know about what's the locker room like when a lady walks in or any of those things? So, anybody have any baseball questions? Sue, Allana, come on up, please. And Sue, would you mind using the microphone in the back? That way we don't have to take time to repeat the question. Right on the mic.
Hi, Allana. Thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
I would like to know who is your best interview and why?
As far as me asking the questions or them answering the questions?
Either way and both.
I have to say my most proud moment so far in my very short broadcasting career is when I interviewed Ubaldo Jimenez after he threw the no-hitter. The first no-hitter in Colorado Rockies history, and apart from his teammates, I was the first one that got to speak to him. And I remember we were in Atlanta, and about the sixth inning, I finally realized what was going on. And nobody wanted to talk about it, of course, because you don't want to jinx it. So we were just waiting, and I had butterflies in my stomach, and I literally wanted to throw up. I was just so excited for him because he was just such a deserving recipient. One of the nicest people, as Thomas and Ed Henderson can corroborate my story, that one of the nicest people in the world, and he throws 100 miles an hour. And to be able to do that, and I feel like I asked intelligent questions even though my heart was pounding, and to see the smile on his face, and to really to witness history. This is a very young franchise, and to be able to interview a tremendous athlete when he made history was pretty incredible. I've had some bad ones too, but that's my favorite. Todd Helton, he doesn't talk. He's difficult because he'll give you one-word answers. When he, surpassed Willie Mays on the all-time doubles list, I interviewed him. He happened to be the player of the game in that case, and I said, "So, you passed Willie Mays on the all-time doubles list?" He said, "Yep, Willie Mays. That's a lot of doubles." Todd Helton's a tough cookie to crack, but he does it for everybody. So,
Question, Randy.
Allana, we've been watching you, and you do a great job, and we really appreciate all
Thank
you
you
do for the Rockies. And one of the things that I have a 16-year-old daughter, and we go to the games, and we sit up in club, and we see you right down there with our seats. And my daughter always asks, "How did you get started into this, and what drew you to baseball itself and working in the sports industry?"
well, I love the fact that it's your daughter, and she's showing interest in the profession and in sports. I've always been a huge sports fan, and a huge spectator of sports and participant in my younger years. In high school, I ran competitively, and then I went to the University of Colorado and realized I wasn't good enough to run there. They have some very good cross-country and track teams, but I've always been a big sports fan, and literally, I had an epiphany, and I was working in 2001, and I used to actually work for Andre Van Hall when we were at the, where are you? There he is, at the Adams Mark Hotel, and the former Adams Mark Hotel. And I had an epiphany in 2001, and I said, if I could do anything in the world, it had nothing to do with the fact that he was my boss, but I said, if I could do anything in the world, what would it be? And sports was absolutely the answer for me. I knew that I wanted to be around the game, and I wanted to do something in sports. I went back to school, received a master's in journalism, and started from the bottom. There's 200 television markets. I started in 142 in Wichita Falls, Texas, and did everything. Wrote all my own stuff, shot all of my own games, edited everything, then went on the air with it. And from there I went to Madison, Wisconsin for 2.5 years, which is a lot of fun, except for the winters, but a lot of fun. And covered the University of Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers, as they like to say, and the Milwaukee Brewers, and then came home on vacation, ironically attended a Rockies game, found out there was an opening at FS in Rocky Mountain, and was able to move home 6 weeks later. So just the love of sports, and I always tell kids when I speak to groups of students or people interested in a career path, everybody wants my job, by the way, so take a number, but they don't see the stuff that goes into it before you get on TV. The TV part's the easiest part. It's the research and all of the work that we do leading up to the games. My advice to anyone interested is do what you absolutely love, because it never feels like a job. This is a passion for me, and I get to cover baseball for a living, and I'm very blessed. So please tell your daughter that I'd be happy to help her in terms of any questions that she has, but especially as a woman in this business, you better know what you're talking about. So do a lot of work, be prepared to move, be prepared to not make any money at first, but if you love what you do, it never feels like work.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.